Joining us now, the author of The Man Who Killed Kennedy, The Case Against LBJ, and host of The Roger Stone Show on WABC Radio, veteran GOP strategist Roger Stone. So, Roger, I looked at this new information. True or false? LBJ made the decision to kill Kennedy. The CIA orchestrated the assassination with the help of the New Orleans-based mob and Cuban exiles.
True. Definitively true. And there's eyewitness evidence, fingerprint evidence, and an understanding of deep Texas politics that would prove it. But what we have here is, interestingly, the involvement of the Central Intelligence Agency. So there is a conspiracy, I hate that word, a plot that involved organized crime, Central Intelligence Agency, big Texas oil, and certain large financial interests to kill John F. Kennedy. And of course, cui bono, who benefited the most? Why, that would be Lyndon Baines Johnson.
So how should we think about the CIA's mind control activities at the time and their interface with this assassination?
Well, thanks to the persistence and the hard work of your former colleague, Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna, the CIA has now finally, after 6 decades of claiming they had little knowledge of Lee Harvey Oswald, they've finally come clean and admitted that one of their key operatives, a guy named George Joannides, was essentially his handler, and that they maneuvered Oswald into position in New Orleans, where he posed as a pro-Castro communist to get into a scuffle on the street to try to create the narrative of Oswald as a communist. This does not mean that Oswald shot Kennedy. It does mean that he was being set up as a patsy to take a fall. A little known fact here, Matt, one of the other guys out there on the street handing out pro-Castro leaflets was Rafael Angel Cruz, Ted Cruz's father. Now, that doesn't mean that he was involved in the murder of Kennedy. What it does mean is he was likely also working for the Central Intelligence Agency.
When I saw this connection of this particular CIA handler and Oswald in New Orleans, I thought back to all of the attention in your book to the geography of New Orleans, how it was this very interesting intersection of the Cuban influence, the mob influence, a lot of CIA stuff going on. Just take a moment and bring us into how New Orleans played a key role in the geography of this Kennedy assassination.
Well, it's very interesting that the address that's listed on the pro-Castro leaflets that Oswald has handed out is the office address of a FBI informant and operative named Guy Bannister. So New Orleans, as you know, Garrison, the local district attorney, got wind of this, conducted his own investigation, was thwarted by the federal government, never really finished, although I think he wrote one of the better books about it. But this is a giant reveal. This is a huge development. And it's important to know that the government held this back in the face of President Trump's order for full disclosure. It is only because of the relentlessness of Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna and the assistance of the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, that we have this information today.
What do you think it means that we live in a post-coup country?
Well, I think it means that we have a deep state in this country. We learned a couple things this week, actually. We have absolute certification by the CIA director that the former CIA director, John Brennan, insisted that the so-called Steele dossier, which he knew was a fraud that implicated President Donald Trump allegedly with prostitutes in Moscow when he visited as a private businessman, was a total and complete fabrication. But he included it in an intelligence community assessment that was given to President Barack Obama, so it could be used as the predicate for the effort to remove a duly elected president, and for the rationale given the appointment of Robert Mueller as the special investigator. Look, the CIA, the FBI, all of these institutions, our national security apparatus, has been corrupt for decades. And now what we need, despite the fact we have excellent appointees at the top, Matt, we need a total top to bottom house cleaning.
The point you just made there is the critical point. that the assassination of Kennedy, with a role of the CIA in that event, then creates a through line to the very moment where people in the CIA believe it falls to them to get rid of Donald Trump as the president of the United States. I think that is an essential point to capture. But while I have you, Roger, I do also have to ask you about this America Party from Elon Musk. We've heard folks on the program say no third parties can ever work. It's foolish to think about it. I'm sure there's a lot of thoughts you have on it. But I mean, it was Roger Stone who was partially constructing a Donald Trump takeover of the Reform Party back in the 90s. Do I remember that correctly?
Well, it might have been a takeover. It might have been actually been the destruction of the Reform Party. There are different opinions on that. It is safe to say that because his fellow billionaire Ross Perot urged Donald Trump to consider the Reform Party nomination in 2000, he took a hard look at it, spent about $2 million of his own money studying ballot access in the states that the Reform Party was not on the ballot and so on. But in the end, he concluded, I think correctly, that you can only get elected president as either a Republican or a Democrat. The great danger here, Matt, as you know, is that a new America Party will merely split the vote of those voters who are sane and allow the Marxist-dominated Democrats, who otherwise are in disarray, to come back into power because the pro-MAGA, more conservative voters are split between two parties. I have great respect for Elon Musk, not only for what he's done for free speech, but also the fact that he had the courage to turn over the proof that shows that Twitter executives were working hand in glove with the intelligence agencies to censor people like you and I, who are questioning the outcome of the 2020 election, or questioning the safety and effectiveness of the COVID-19 vaccination, or questioning the authenticity of Hunter Biden's laptop. And I also admire his efforts to identify waste, fraud, and corruption in federal spending. But I would much rather see him channel his electoral reform efforts inside the Republican Party in party primaries. For those who say it can't be done, let me raise two names with you: Goldwater and Reagan, and Trump. It can be done, and it must be done. That's the right place to push the MAGA agenda, not within the realm of a new third party that will merely split the votes of pro-America voters and allow the Democrats to return to power.
We did have to wrestle this party away from the Bushes, and it wasn't easy, but it proves that it can be done. Roger Stone, thanks as always for coming on the program and sharing your expertise.
Thanks, Matt.